Welcome back to Simrite Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to sew this beautiful petal rose sleeve. As you can see right here on the pictures, it's a very beautiful sleeve. Okay, so I'll be teaching you the tips and tricks to sewing this beautiful sleeve and attaching it to your dress in this tutorial. So here is my petal sleeve. So you can see what I got right there. I just attached it to my off-shoulder dress. So you can attach this petal sleeve to your off-shoulder dress. You can also attach it to a shoulder dress, okay? Just to beautify your dress. It's actually very beautiful. But I prefer to attach this sleeve on an off-shoulder. So in this class, I'll be teaching you how to attach it to your dress and how to make the sleeve. These are the materials I'm going to use for this sleeve. I'll be using my pepper stay, okay? So I'm using pepper stay. The medium pepper stay, that is what I used for this sleeve. And I'm using my shiny damask fabric. So you can use any fabric of your choice, but I think damask is better. You need your pepper, you need your pencil, a scissors or a marker. Now, of course, you need your tape as well. Now we'll be drafting on our pepper, then we'll now transfer to fabric. So I'm drafting on pepper in case you want to make an adjustment to the shape of your petal. Okay, so it's better you draft on pepper then transfer on your fabric, so you'll be very sure of what you are cutting. So I place my pepper on fold and I'll mark 2.5 inches for the width on the downside, and the length is 6 inches. So the length is 6 inches. For this particular petal, we have 3 different sizes of petals. So for this particular first one is the bigger petal. So I've marked 6 inches length and I'm going to mark a line, a horizontal line. So I will measure 3 inches on that part. You measure 3 inches on that part. Then we are going to connect the 2.5 inches on the down part to the 3 inches on the upper part. So I decided to use my pattern ruler, but you can freehand that part. Okay, the only thing is that the down part is smaller, 2.5, and the upper width is bigger, 3 inches. So I bring in my marker right now, place my pattern ruler, and just get the shape I want. But I just felt like reducing that part. Okay, so you can just freehand it. You must not use a pattern ruler. So this is what I got for the first petal. So like I said, we have 3 different types of petals. So this is the first one. So I've cut it out and open it up. So here I'll be using this to cut my first petal. So you can see how I pleated it. That is how we're going to pleat it at the end of the day. So this is the first petal right now. Now I brought my pepper again. I placed it on fold. We are going to mark out the second petal. So the width of the second petal is 2.5 inches on fold, and the length is 4.5 inches length. I'm also going to draw a straight line at that 4.5 inches, and I'm going to also take 3 inches as the width. Then I'll bring in my pattern ruler and I'll go ahead and connect from the 2.5 inches to the upper part, just like we did in the other one. So here is my second petal. So I'll just go ahead and cut out the shape of this petal. So after cutting out the second petal, so to make sure that everything is matching up together, I'm going to place it on fold on top of the first petal, making sure that the sizes are equal. So you can see that excess. Okay, I'm trimming it off right now. Make sure the size of the first and the second petal is equal on their sides. So this is my second petal right now. Now we are going to mark out the third petal. So for the third petal, I place my fabric on fold, my pepper on fold rather. So the width of the third petal is 2 inches for the smaller one. Because it is the smallest petal, I mark 2 inches width, and I marked 3 inches for the length. The length for the smallest one is 3 inches. So I'll mark a straight line right there. And then I'm not going to take any measurement of any width. Okay, so I decided to take 2.5. But of course, at the end of the day, when I place my ruler, it appears is not actually going to match up. So I just free-handed that part. Okay, so the width was 2.5 and for the upper part. So just go ahead and shaping it. You can use your ruler or whatever. So here is the third petal. So I went ahead and cut it out. So it's just small. It has to be smaller than all of them. So I tried fixing it in there, and you can see it's the smallest petal we have. So the width is 2 inches on the down part, as you can see. So this is the third petal right now. So it's very easy to make the patterns. Right now we are going to cut out the base. So I folded it like 360 degrees flay, and I'm going to mark my radius at 3 inches. So the radius of the base is 3 inches. So you are going to fold your paper like when you are cutting your 360 degrees flay. So now I'm going to cut out that circle. I'll cut out that 3 inches radius right now, and it's going to give me my full circle, which will serve as the base of this petal sleeve. So the petals are going to, go into it. I have 5. I'm going to use 5 petals for each of the sizes. So this is the base. So these are my patterns. So the next thing is to go ahead to iron your paper stay on your fabric. The sticky part of your paper stay, you place it on top of the wrong side of your fabric and hair stay or stay it. So I went ahead and stayed, and I'm going to fold my fabric to cut out my first petal. I'll place my first petal secure with my pin, and I'm going to add 1/2 inch seam allowances all around. My seam allowances are half inch. I went ahead to add half inch, which I'm going to use to stitch my fabric. So for each petal you need 2 pieces, because you are going to sew and turn. So this is the right way to fold your fabric. So you fold it on the wrong side, so you don't need to start turning it. Now I've folded and I want to cut. So if you want to cut many pieces, you can, like this one I folded right now and I'm cutting. It's going to give me 2 pieces after cutting. That is 4 pieces for 2 petals at once. So if you want to cut it faster, just go ahead and fold and fold and fold, and then place your pattern and cut. Now you can see my petals, so you just go ahead and secure with your pins, and then we'll move over to the machine to stitch them. So what I have here is just 3 petals for size 1 petal. So I'll go ahead and fold my fabric again. You can see I'm folding it on the part of the paper stay, so it will be easy for you to stitch directly. So I'm going to place my pattern because I've added my seam allowances, so it will be very easy for me to cut out on the shape of the petals. So this is the method I'm going to use to cut both the size 1, size 2, size 3 petals, and even the base of the petals. So here I'm going to turn it, the first one, right side to right side. So my petals are ready right now. So for each I have 10 pieces, and I'm going to sew them and have 5 petals for each size. Now I'm going to trace out the pepper on the paper stay. You use your ink and trace out, or your marker, and trace out on the paper stay, so that once we take away the pattern, you now go ahead and follow the marker line. Okay, I'll just secure like that. So all of my petals, I'm putting them right side to right side the way I cut them, and I'll just go ahead and follow the ink line, and I'm going to stitch all the way down. As you see me mark right here, that is exactly how I'm going to stitch on my machine. Now we are going over to the machine to stitch. Here on the machine, like I earlier said, you just go ahead, follow the shape of that ink, okay? And then sew all the way to the end of it. So this is the method I'll use to sew all of them. After sewing, don't forget to trim off the excesses you have on your seam allowances. So once you cut off the excesses, it will be very easy for you to turn and have a clean finishing. So here you can see me turning the one I've already cut, and this is it, and it's already looking beautiful. So I'm going to use this method right now to sew all of them. So we are going to pleat it in like this on the base, and our petal will be ready. So I've cut all my petals and I've turned. This is 3. Size 3 has 5 petals, size 2 has 5 petals, size 1 have 5 petals. All of them are 5 petals for each size, and the base is just 1. So I'm going to also mark the base, as you can see me do right here, and I'm going to follow the stitching line or the marker line and stitch around that base. So I stitched and left like 4 inches opening. So at that 4 inches, I'm going to reduce the seams of the part I stitched while I leave the seam of the part that is open. So I'll go ahead and turn it to the right side. After turning it to the right side, the next I'm going to do is to tuck in. I'm going to tuck in the open part neatly and top stitch on top of it. So I'll go over to the machine and top stitch on top of it. So after top stitching, this is what I got. Now we are going to go over to the machine to begin to sew the petals. So I just want to demonstrate how I'm going to sew the petals. The 5 of them, I'll just split them in like this until I complete the 5 petals into the circle. So here on the machine, this is my first petal size. So I'll go ahead right now. There are 5 in number. You can see I'm counting them 5 in number. The first thing I'm going to do right now is to mark 1 inch. You are going to mark, you can see how I'm placing my tape. I'm marking 1 inch outward, 1 inch outward. So that 1 inch outward is what we are going to use to stitch on any dress. Okay, I'll show you how to stitch it on your dress. So this is the 1 inch and this is the inner circle. So on this circle we are going to place our petal right now to stitch. So here is the first petal, the first size petal. So I'll just place it the way you see me do, and I'll follow the circle. Make sure you top stitch, follow the circle, then you pick it up and pleat it in. You can see how I'm pleating it. So you have to be very, very observant here to see how I'm pleating it. Then make sure you overlap. After sewing the first one, I overlapped the second one. Don't forget to overlap. After overlapping, you pleat. So you can see how I'm pleating. Okay, so watch this video very well to see how I'm pleating. So once I pleat and stitch, then I'm going to pick up the next one and overlap, and I'm sewing on that chalk line, the circle chalk line. Then I'm going to also pleat. You can see where I'm pleating from. Okay, I'm not pleating from the center, I'm pleating from the side to the center. Then I'll overlap again. So make sure you pleat and overlap. That is the beauty of this sleeve. If you don't do it this way, you will not get it. So I'll also pleat and overlap as you see me do right here. I'll overlap the last one, then pleat in the last one, then overlap it on the other one. Okay, so you can see what I got right here. So this sleeve is actually beautiful on the first layer. Now we are going to go over to the second layer. For the second layer, I'll just go ahead and place in between the two. Okay, so this second layer will be placed in between the two, and you will take it a little more inner. Don't place it on top of the first one, place it a little bit inner, but you are going to stitch at 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch. So I'm using the same method. You sew, you pleat. That is the first one. So you make sure it's in between. The second one, I place it in between the two first layers. Then you are going to stitch and pleat the same way I stitched the first layer. That's how I'm sewing the second one. So in between the two again, I will stitch, overlap and stitch, then pleat in and stitch. Then I'll bring the third one in between, or the fourth one in between the two layers of the first one. I'll overlap, then I'll pleat in and then stitch. So you have to use your eyes actually here, so you'll be able to see exactly how I did this. So I'm overlapping the last one, and I'm going to also pleat it in. So they are all in between the first one, and I'll go ahead and finish up that layer. So the second layer is ready. We'll go over to the third layer. So for the third layer right now, I'll just also use the same pattern of putting it at the center, stitching, overlapping, pleating, you know, like that. So this particular layer has a smaller circle, so that is why the width is small. So now you are going to bring it a little more closer to the center of the circle and follow the same pattern of pleating and overlapping. So we have gradually come to the end of sewing this beautiful petal rose sleeve. So I'm pleating in the last one. Okay, this is the last one right now. So I'll overlap and then I'll pleat. Then I'm going to finish up the other side right at the center. So my sleeve is very beautiful and ready. Now we are going to cover the center of it, or we are going to decorate it. So this is what the back looks like, okay? And this is what the front sleeve looks like. So now we are going to prepare the smaller rose. So I hasted my fabric, and the width on fold is 2 inches. So I just place it at the back and sew it like a belt. So after sewing like a belt, I'm going to turn it the way you see me do right now. So you just turn it like a belt. The length is 15 inches. You can use 20 inches for the length, but the width on fold is 2 inches. So after turning it, you can see one side is closed and the other side is open. So I just tuck in the part that is open and go and top stitch it. So once I've top stitched it, this is what I got. Next, I'm going to use my needle and thread. So you have to use needle and thread and make a little gather. So you have to gather and gather like that until you get to the end of it with your needle and thread. So now this is my gather. Don't gather too much, just a little gather is okay to form those small roses. So this is it. So I'm going to bring my glue gum. So you have to plug your glue gum, then we'll begin to use it to make the roses. So I'm going to turn it the way you see me turn right there. I'll keep turning like that, like that. So as you are gumming it with your glue gum, it will be sticking and you'll be rolling it. You'll be rolling it to form those roses. So you can make as much roses as you want. If you want 3 or 4, but that is okay. So I just want 1, just to cover the center of that part. So any design of your choice with this rose is good. So I am going to tie the thread on my needle just to hold it on. Then you can also paste a little more gum to hold it on. So my needle is still there, so I'm going to use that needle right now while I hold it down more with my glue gum. Then I'll take it to the center of my rose sleeve, place it at that point. Then I'm going to pass the needle. I'll pass my needle to the back, then pass it again like that. I'll pass it again like that. Of course, you know how to tack. That is what I'm doing. So I prefer to tack with my needle and thread than to use my glue gum to hold it on. So with your needle and thread, you'll be sure you have it well tacked and it's not going to fall off. Now I'm going to make sure I secure that part very well. You can see how I'm passing it in and out. That is to make it very, very secured. So after that, I'm going to tighten it or secure it finally at the back. You knot it as much as you want to knot it at the back. So here I'm sure my rose is well secured. So this rose, you can put it anywhere you want. It can be on the sleeve, it can be anywhere. So my sleeve is very, very ready right now, and I'm very, very happy with what we have right here for our petal sleeve. So the next thing right now is to fix this on your dress. So like I said earlier, I like to fix it on an off-shoulder dress. So I already have an off-shoulder dress I made some time ago on this channel. So I can drop the link for you if you want to attach it on an off-shoulder like this. But it's good you attach on an off-shoulder that has a strap. Okay, an off-shoulder that has a strap is better. So any which way, this is the method to fix it. So you see that space that we left that time on the base of this circle, that is what I'm going to use to attach it to my sleeve area. So I will go ahead and use my needle and thread. So you are going to use needle and thread to attach this sleeve or this petal on your strap sleeve. So I will go ahead and attach it. If you're attaching it on a long sleeve, this is how to go about it. If you're attaching it on a strap sleeve, you are going to finish up sewing your dress completely. Okay, so once you finish sewing your dress completely, you prepare your petal rose and attach. So that is how to go about it. So you can see the result of the petal sleeve or the petal rose. So if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos more. Thank you. Bye.